What's going on, everyone? Well, you know what I'm about to say. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 17 of PMP, the Potty Mouths podcast. Coming at you, first episode on Thursday. It was a long week. I was away, and then whatever things happened.
Welcome back.
So we're back. So let's get right into it. We're gonna do a quick review show, and then tomorrow we'll do our little preview show for the weekend. But first, what do you think we're starting with? You think we're going NFL, NCAA?
When I read this at first, I thought somebody tore their UCL.
It is the Champions League. I gotta throw out some love to AC Milan for going to Madrid, the Bernabeu, and winning 3-1 over Real Madrid in the Champions League. Throwing back the clock, the two most decorated Champions League teams ever. I'm just going to shout out Milan real quick before we get into the American side of things. And that's it. That's all I had to say.
Yes, shout out to the boys from Milan.
Shout out. We won't talk about what happened with Arsenal, but they're getting their boys back. So I'm not worried.
I don't even know what that means. I mean, that's congratulations to the Italians. How about that?
Thank you.
But there might be other people on the team I don't know about, but congratulations.
All right, Vin's gonna. Oh, I should break it down. All right, so that was a little treat for myself. We'll get into NFL, college, do our diaper dandies. We'll get a little bit into the Cincy Baltimore game tonight, and then we'll get into a little NBA, a little MLB, and then that's it. So we'll start off. Vin's gonna lead us off into the gridiron.
Let's recap the NFL from last week. Let's start off with that Thursday night matchup, that Halloween game in the Meadowlands, which isn't the Meadowlands anymore. The Houston Texans come in, lose to the New York Jets by a score of 21-13. Bonehead mistake by that kid who dropped the ball before the end zone. I mean, I don't know if he's still on the team. He shouldn't be. Probably should have cut him at halftime. I don't know much about him. I don't know anything about him. I'm sure if Rodgers had something to say about it, then I'm sure he might be selling popcorn this weekend. But this weekend, who knows? Did you watch this game? I'm sure you were locked in somewhere somehow. Oh, you were flying.
Missed. I landed and then I had to drive an hour or so to Baton Rouge from New Orleans. But I missed the beginning. But I know that Quinnen had a game. I know Reddick did a little things. But I saw all the great plays by Garrett.
Okay.
For my money, he's got top 5 set of hands in the league.
Throw him the ball.
And they did. Him and Devontae looked great. So this was, I know Houston has O-line problems. I know Houston's banged up. No Nico. No, who's the other guy that's out?
Receiver?
Yeah, they lost someone. Oh, Diggs.
Mr. Diggs.
I know, listen, I know they're banged up, but this was a good win for my former favorite team, the New York Jets. So if we'll get into the Arizona game tomorrow, probably. If the Jets can beat Arizona, they're approaching a playoff spot. So big weekend for the Jets. I do this on the docket because it's a win. It's worth talking about. Texans are good. I know they're banged up, but short week. Jets get the win at home, and they looked good. They looked like a competent football team for the first time in weeks.
Second week back for Tua. Dolphins going up to Buffalo. Close game. Bills come out 30-27 victory. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't see too much excitement on the Dolphins. I haven't seen any explosiveness from the Dolphins. Like we expected, that Tua is back now. Second week back. Bills are a good team at home. I mean, Dolphins put up a fight, but if they want to get back into any contention, those are the games they're going to have to win, and they're coming up short there, and that's just not going to cut the mustard, as they say in the NFL.
No, it's a good point. They aren't the same. They aren't last year's Dolphins.
Nope.
Last year, A-Chain and Mostert were getting like 2 touchdowns each on the ground and stuff like that, and Tyreek was on pace for 2,000 yards, and Waddle was making plays every week or so. They're not the same. They lost a lot on defense. They look sloppy. Buffalo owns them, other than the one game where it was like 100 degrees and Allen couldn't fucking finish the game, and that's when your boy Dorsey, who you think was better than Burrow with that team, was throwing shit around in the in the booth. So I don't know. Miami, back to the drawing board. I think they got to start prepping for 2025. Realistically, if they don't string some wins together and they don't look good, they look unorganized and slow.
Yeah, I think this was a complete step backwards this year for them, and I think it's really this is a team that I thought would have been in front of the Jets, but leaves the door open for the Jets, like you had said. So, congratulations to the Bills and Josh Allen, Mr. Allen. Next game up on the docket here, Detroit Lions going to a rainy Green Bay, come out 10-point victors, 24-14 over the Packers. Detroit's the best team in the NFL until somebody beats them. There's no questions about it. It wasn't the best playing conditions. It was raining, whatever. I actually thought the Packers could have pulled this one out, but I don't think Love's 100%, and I don't think that they use Josh Jacobs like they're supposed to. They did early on, and then it kind of faded away. Detroit's good, and I don't know who's going to beat them, honestly. If the Niners are healthy again, which they are coming up, we'll see what happens, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, kind of
Who are you?
for the Packers, but they are good. They need to get healthy. They need to keep Love, in one piece. Yeah, bad rain. This is, Lions kind of made it, in their minds, they made a huge statement, but they did make a little statement saying, we can play in any weather on any surface and beat you. They're good. They're physical. And it was just a nice NFC North game that Campbell and his boys got the better of Love again, but we'll see. I still think. I mean, it's always going to be hard to beat a team 3 times. If the Packers get healthy and they get on a roll late and they play in January, I would not be surprised. This is probably the only team other in the NFC I could say this about it, unless your Niners get healthy fast. I think the Packers, maybe the Vikings might give them a little scare in the playoffs, but I think the Lions are primed to be in the Super Bowl.
I think if, and this is nothing, and we can touch on this in a minute, or whatever. I'll just say what I'm going to say now. If the Vikings had a better quarterback, and I'm not knocking Sam Darnold, he's been playing great for them this year. He just had a great start for them. He's kind of been okay lately, but I think if that was a team that had like a pretty good starting quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over as much as he does, I think the Vikings would have the best chance in this situation, to be honest with you.
I can see that.
And
I don't disagree.
I'm not saying Kirk Cousins was the answer. Maybe he just wore his welcome up there and whatever it was, but I don't know. But I just don't see them offensively quarterback play to beat them.
You know what? You brought them up. I think that's a team down in Atlanta that no one wants to see in the playoffs.
I agree with you 100% with that. 1,000%.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, I mean, they're all going to have to go to Detroit, but we'll see.
No,
maybe I don't disagree with your Darnold point, but Flores is dialing up. Flores made. Well, we'll get to this game soon. Well, we'll just do it now. Flores made Flacco look lost. Flores with his disguises and designs on defense.
Once again, another guy who's just a great coordinator. And he really is. You can't take anything away from him.
He's coaching his balls off because all the Tua stuff. When Tua came out and said what he said before the year, and then Flores went out there with like 2 bodyguard players that were defending him, saying he's not an asshole or whatever. But fine. I mean, Flacco couldn't get much going.
Disappointing.
And they hung around. They kept it kind of close, but Minnesota was never in a threat to lose that game. So, basically right now we're just talking about who the hell can beat the Lions, and we might be kind of reaching with, or I'm the one saying maybe the Vikings, maybe the Packers, and we both agree on the Falcons. But I don't know.
We'll see.
They look pretty damn good, pretty damn deep, pretty damn physical. And then we'll talk about the trade they made. But
Yeah.
yeah, Vikings at home beat the Colts on Sunday night, and
Yeah.
the return of Joe Flacco as a starter did not start off well.
No, not at all. Um, thought the game that was late in the afternoon there, the Rams went into Seattle. They won in overtime. Cam Kitchens pick six sealed the victory for them. Former Miami Hurricane, just doing Miami Hurricane things out there. Rams are gonna try and play a little bit. I guess they held on to their guys and getting healthier. I think somebody. Well, who got hurt again? Receiver, Puka.
Puka got ejected, right?
Oh, he got hurt too. I thought so. Thought he
Did he
hurt
get
his
hurt?
knee
Or was this the
somewhere
game
along
he got
the.
ejected for throwing a punch, and then Demarcus Robinson had the walk off overtime grab. Putting up the picture of that right now. Yeah, Rams look good, man. The offense is always going to be good if they can keep those guys
Everybody
healthy,
on the field. Yep.
and they're coached well. So
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of being coached well, um, this game was a lot closer than I thought. Tampa Bay, Kansas City, Monday night. Chiefs come out 30-24. I didn't watch I watched the first half and then I kind of kiboshed the rest of it. But then I was reading stories about certain plays in certain situations that the Bucks kind of didn't put themselves in a situation to win. I didn't. Did you see that? Did you? Or were you?
I was in the air. I landed as this game was kind of ending, so I did not see this game. But I did hear that Todd Bowles kind of had a snafu. I believe Todd Bowles. What do you go for two or something? He did something entering overtime, and I believe he said that they were confident, but the other side of the field, there's Mahomes, so I know he was getting some slack on the radio for making a wrong
Yeah.
decision. Forgive me for not seeing this, but I know Kansas City kind of squeaked this one out.
Yeah, another guy is a better coordinator than he is a head coach, and you know that firsthand too.
He's
I
improved.
mean,
I mean,
I guess.
they
I mean, they don't
they got
really.
a playoff one with a makeshift kind of not roster, but they kind of just grabbed Baker Mayfield, not knowing what to expect, and they got a playoff win, and they scared the living daylights out of out of your Niners, right?
Not alliance.
Oh, they lost to the Lions, right? They beat Philly, almost beat Detroit, and then
Right.
Niners
And
beat
that's what.
the Lions, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's the game earlier this year. They played each other, and we thought it would be, you know, a shootout, and whatever. Lions obviously won, but you know, Kansas City again does it again, and here we're getting into the Kansas City season. It probably starts in 2 weeks or so when they really kind of put things together, and I mean they're put together already, but I don't know. I don't know. They don't look. I'm not going to say anything about them. I always think they look like like they did in Christmas Day last year when they lost to the Raiders, and then all of a sudden they win the Super Bowl. So
Yeah, they have someone tough coming up soon. Buffalo. They have Buffalo in, I believe, the
it's not.
following week. They
Yeah.
have Denver this weekend, I believe, who can give them problems on defense, but they probably can't score.
Right.
And then I think they might go to Buffalo.
Lead us into our rookies for this performances this past weekend.
Yeah, just quickly, I added a couple guys. Normally we just do like the two top quarterbacks, the Giants. I added some guys here. So
Okay.
Caleb Williams in a loss at Arizona, 22 for 41, 217 yards in the air, 4 rushes for only 5 yards. Two back-to-back tough weeks in different ways. Back-to-back tough weeks for the Bears. They lose on the Hail Mary, and then they got smothered by Arizona by 20. But Adunze, one of his wideouts, 5 catches for 104. So he looked good in a game where no one could really do much on that side of the ball for the Bears. In that same game, Marvin Harrison Jr. leaving a lot to be desired, especially for fantasy owners like myself. 2 catches, 34 yards. We're still waiting for him to put up some monster numbers like recent rookies have. Brian Thomas Jr. playing at the Link against the Eagles. Only 2 catches for 22 yards. He did have a catch for a 2-point conversion, which was successful, obviously. In a close game, I am done. They were my flush pick. I am done taking the Eagles to cover ever because Sirianni only goes for 2, and he ruins spreads, and he's kind of a disaster, but he's got enough talent to cover it up, and the defense plays well when they need to. So I'm done with done betting the Eagles to cover anything. But they do win the game. Jaden Daniels, MVP talk. People are saying now, up there with I guess Goff and Allen and Lamar. Jaden Daniels, 15 of 22, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns, 8 rush, 35 yards at the Giants. They get the win. In that same game, Malik Neighbors, 9 catches. He's always open, 59 yards. And Tracy, 16 attempts for 61, 1 catch for 3 yards. They're good. I know some people wanted the Giants to blow it up and trade some guys, but I think it's smart they didn't. They kind of have a core. If they can draft the right guys and figure out if they want to keep this coaching staff and GM,
They stink.
And they stink, and
they all stink. I mean, it's a terrible organization.
And then lastly, we can get back into that later in the segment. But Bo Nix, I'll mention him for the first time in this segment. 19 for 33, 233 yards. Sorry, 223 yards, 1 pick, 6 rushes for 36 yards. They got smacked by Baltimore. It's not a terrible game by him, but they just didn't do enough, and their defense let them down for the first time all year. They lose, I believe it was 41-10. Baltimore and Harbaugh, they're not going to lose to a rookie quarterback. So
That's who
good.
The Broncos are. Exactly that game. I don't know who thought they were good. I don't know. You can talk about their defense. They stink too. That's just the bottom line. They're not good. And Bo Nix is like every other quarterback they've drafted and been unsuccessful. Whatever. They stink. Terrible.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who has a ton of experience, but
not 38 years old.
Experience. Yeah. NFL news. Quickly, Dak is probably going to miss at least 4 weeks with a torn hamstring, so the Cowboys are done. Unless Cooper Rush shows us something he hasn't.
They were done before this. What are we even talking about?
I'm just saying, the NFC's not lighting it up for me. So NFL trades. We're not going to mention all of them. Just 3 I have that were worth mentioning. Pittsburgh gets a number 2 receiver in Mike Williams. If he could stay healthy, it's a nice compliment for Freiermuth and Pickens over there.
Yeah,
give Russell another weapon. They haven't had great receivers producing. They've had great receivers. They haven't had great receivers producing in a while. Maybe the first year of Deontay and Pickens, but that didn't last long. The Commanders go on down to New Orleans and get Marshawn Lattimore. Great pickup. Good cornerback. He's still, still making plays. It's a good pickup. And then lastly, Detroit gets Zadarius Smith from Cleveland. Nice little compensation for the injury to their stud Hutchinson.
Yep.
So Cleveland gets Cleveland decides to trade a little bit. Detroit gets better, Washington gets better, and Pittsburgh gets a tad bit better on offense. And that's the news in the NFL. And then tonight, in about 2.5 hours, another good Thursday night game, which I don't like. I don't like Thursday night football. I don't like how they've changed their tune. Thursday night football became a weekly thing to get bad teams at the time, like Cleveland and Jacksonville and Houston and Indy, a primetime game. Shouldn't be for a game like this. It shouldn't be for Cincy and Baltimore with a lot on the line, division rivals. That's not what Thursday Night Football is about. But Amazon paid a ton of money. They complained about the bad matchups. So now the NFL is like, fine, we'll give you good games. So we've seen the Jets twice, which on paper, the Jets are good. Seen the Jets twice already. So that's Rodgers and Stroud. And now we're seeing...
This is a Monday night game to me.
This is a Sunday. This is a Sunday night, Monday night game. This should not be a Thursday.
Exactly. This is bad.
It's just bad. Hopefully,
it's just not bad. It's bad.
This bothers me. These games should be, Jacksonville, Cleveland. That's what these games should be.
Put the Dolphins on. People like to watch them on Thursday Night Football. Nobody cares about them anymore.
Yeah. So
It's just
I'm with
it's
you.
just not good.
I think this game is very important. Cincinnati's trying to crawl back into the picture, and Baltimore's trying to keep pace with Kansas City if they can falter. And then and probably no Higgins, and I know Baltimore's not healthy. Likely is out. No one's healthy on short throws. So that's tonight. I don't even -6. Baltimore, I believe, is -6 at last look. It's in Baltimore. Hopefully Cincinnati can get the win, keep things interesting, and they'll keep pace in the playoff picture. Just
If they don't,
quickly,
they're in trouble.
well, yeah. I think the schedule
They're about a
eases up.
right now. They're about a 24% chance of making the playoffs.
If they win tonight, I'm sure that bumps up to like
I'm sure it
48.
does. That's why I said
But
they have to win tonight. Unfortunately,
yeah, I looked at their schedule and didn't worry me, but we'll see. That's tonight's game. I'm sure we'll react to it if it's a good one tomorrow, and then Vin will lead us into our next little segment.
we're going to talk about college football here and a bunch of games that I actually thought were going to be better than they were, and it was to me it was a disappointing weekend in certain situations. And we'll start off with the most disappointing game: Ohio State versus Penn State. People want Franklin's head. They want him gone. I don't know what they expected. And people are crying about like not having a whiteout at home against Ohio State. First of all, you got to beat them at 12 o'clock if you want to have a night game. And you can't even do that. Ohio State, number 4 ranked team in the country, going into the number 3 team at home. And if you watched the game early on, Penn State had a chance to kind of take over and not look back, but it's Penn State. They lose 20-13, so I'm sure it's not far off of where they are because they're playing Ohio State. But people are pissed off. People going after Franklin after the game. He's going back after them. What do you? What I mean? Would they? I actually thought Penn State had a chance to win. And if you watch the game, especially in the first half, they had a chance to win. But then they turn the ball over. You know, it's just Penn State is just hard. They're so hard to watch. I couldn't watch it anymore because I just can't tolerate watching their brand of football, the program, and the fucking Happy Valley shit. I'm tired of it. I'm happy. I'm happy they lost, and I'm happy for Ohio State to keep where they were. Did you catch this Saturday? Were you busy or were you drinking
No, we
Mai
were
Tais?
watching.
What
We
were
were
you
tuned
doing?
in.
Okay.
We were tuned in a little bit. But here's the thing: I am on that Franklin's got to go train. If you look at his record against those teams, I mean that's exactly why Rich Rod they wanted Harbaugh out. Like you got to beat Ohio State and
Yep.
Michigan sometimes.
Boosters are paying big money.
I just think Franklin is. Penn State used to be almost up there with Notre Dame with like recognition, that logo recognition, and always in a good bowl game. And I know it was Joe Pa, and we won't get into all that, but I think Franklin's got to go. I mean, there's nowhere left on the schedule, assuming they win out. I had thought they do. I know there's 30 teams in the division now, in the conference now. I thought they played Michigan still, but they don't. And my thought was if Michigan beats them, you gotta get this guy out of there. People would want that job. It's a good job. Pennsylvania's a good state with high school football for recruiting. But so I do disagree there. I think that I think Penn State needs to look elsewhere because Franklin's not going to win a big game ever. They're set up. We'll get into the rankings tomorrow because they came out Tuesday.
Bring back Bill O'Brien.
They're set up to make the playoff, but I think they're going to get fucking crushed on a neutral field. I mean, I assume if they even make the neutral field, I assume they'll host. Right now, their ranking I think is good enough where they will host the game, but the teams behind them, Bama, possibly LSU, if they can win this weekend, think they're going to crush Penn State, but we'll see. I know they were a little banged up, but I don't know.
Everybody is at this point.
Franklin's not the guy, hasn't been, and Ohio State just keeps squeaking by, and that's going to catch up to the Buckeyes eventually.
SEC football, number 19, Ole Miss puts an absolute beating on the Arkansas Razorbacks, 63-31. I think Dart had 5 touchdowns or some ridiculously crazy number. He's a guy that's so hot and cold. I don't even know what to say about him. I don't watch enough of him to understand him, but I don't know what the track record of Ole Miss quarterbacks going pro are. I don't think they're that good. But good old-fashioned ass kicking in the SEC by the Ole Miss Rebels. Arkansas, I thought Arkansas put up a little bit better of a game than that, but especially at home. But SEC football, anything's any given Saturday is the mantra on in the SEC. So, your thoughts on Mr. Dart and the Rebels?
Well, if we bring it back to the Ole Miss quarterbacks, Eli's going to be a Hall of Famer, like him or not.
The only one. All right. So I mean,
yeah.
1 out of 50 is not bad.
They do have I think they do have a couple of backups in the NFL right now, but no, the reason we're talking about this game is because Dart is coming on. They are coming on. 63 points on the road at Arkansas is impressive no matter what year it is. And now they play Georgia, and if Ole Miss can get hot, no one's gonna want to play them. They're well coached. I like Kiffin. Dart is good. They have great skill guys as usual. So that's the only reason we're talking about an unranked Arkansas loss by 32 points is because Ole Miss looks damn good when it matters most. So we'll see how they close out the year.
Yeah, we'll see how they finish up. We're gonna go into Minnesota at Illinois. Minnesota. I don't know. I'm missing this situation here. Minnesota goes in, beats Illinois. I expected more of Illinois at home here. I thought they were going to win this game. Minnesota's a team every week that they're actually getting better, and I've only known that just from watching and looking at scores and who they played. Tough loss at home for the Illini. Unranked Florida. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. You said it all. It all. It's just Illinois. No reason to talk about that in the rest of the year. Go on.
That's it. The biggest cocktail party in the world. The shitbag Florida Gators go and play the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia comes out 34-20. It was a point in this game. I think it was close. Somebody got hurt. Nobody cares. The Gators stink. And it's just the bottom line. And I read a story today that guy's coming back next year. Yeah, that's the biggest mistake they're ever going to make.
They're keeping Billy in.
Disaster. No, I mean, he's Florida. Good, keep him. We'll just take the recruits. Georgia, yeah, that's.
I was reading that because I did miss this game. I was at a wedding. So I was reading that Georgia escaped Florida. 14-point victory at home. The week before they play a really good ranked Ole Miss team. I don't know if you can really say that. I'm a big believer that these teams in college and in the pros look ahead and they keep plays in their back pocket for the next week. That's what I believe happens when you're dealing with important games and in the pros and now in college, millions of dollars and keeping your ass off the hot seat. So I don't believe this was an escape. Believe it was a win against a rival on a neutral field.
It sucks.
Georgia's just fine.
Sucks. Good win for the Dogs. Game of the could have been upset of the week, maybe, if you want to call it that. Texas Tech is good. They've been good all year.
Upset of the week is the game we're going to talk about after this, but go on.
I don't ever consider – okay, fine. Fair enough. Texas Tech goes into Iowa State, unbeaten Iowa State, if I was not mistaken.
Correct.
Put up a 1-point victory, 23-22 over number 11, Iowa State. Good win for the Red Raiders. They have a big game this week that they're going to win. They're playing the Buffaloes at home, and they're going to win that game too, because the Buffaloes stink too.
You hate them. Aren't they 20? They're ranked 20 now.
23. Oh, 20. You're right. Sorry, my eyes are going out. Yeah, they're ranked. Whatever it is. That Texas Tech's going to make another statement here. They're going to go home. after that victory, and they're going to beat another ranked team this weekend. Mark my words, +4 Texas Tech at home.
All right. So you think this was a bigger upset than the next game we'll talk about? I respect that, but I don't think Iowa State was the 11th best team in the country, and I think Texas Tech is better than people think. These teams do belong in probably the high 20s, low 20s, but no, the next game was my upset of the week. So Iowa State so long out of the playoff picture.
Adios, Cyclones.
Maybe next year.
Number 10, A&M goes into South Carolina and gets beat down by the Gamecocks between the hedges, the real hedges of South Carolina, 44-20. I don't have much to say, but I mean, we kind of touched about this a little bit. SC's got some guys that can play.
Yeah.
My bigger question in this whole equation, and it's been since opening night against Notre Dame, Texas A&M is who. This is the who are you conversation because.
Oh, hold on, I got a sound for that.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Got it.
Yeah. Who are you? Because you go in. Let's go to the LSU game. You beat LSU, right? And then you come home and you go to South Carolina and get your asses handed to you. It was, and the conversation around college football last week was like, hey, listen, A&M's going to make a lot of noise in the playoffs. They just got their asses handed to them by a team that's, I don't even know what South Carolina's record is. Maybe now it was 4-3 going into that game. I think now it's 5-3 after that beatdown they put. Texas A&M's not going to make the playoffs. They shouldn't.
They lost
to Notre Dame.
They were on pace to, but yeah, that's bad.
It's just, I don't know. Their wins to me are not. I don't know. Is the Notre Dame game going to matter that much at this point? That they lost by 10. I mean, they lost that game, and
well, the voters have Notre Dame primed for a playoff spot right now.
God, I hope they lose. Who are they playing this week? I hope they lose. Whoever they're playing. God,
I know they have Army soon. They probably have USC soon. Probably Stanford. They always finish up the year with all those shit teams.
Yeah. No,
actually, Army's
good win for the Gamecocks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Again, I was at a wedding. I missed it, but I know it wasn't close. SC's coached well. A&M probably drinking the Kool-Aid. They're not as good as that LSU win was on paper on the final score, but they pulled it out at home. I know people think that's the hardest. I think the college video game didn't they do their hardest place to play, and they put Kyle Field 1, and people were like, "What?"
I don't know. That place is a cult. I hate that place too.
We'll see. But yeah, South Carolina, good win, and it shakes up the SEC even more so now.
Good.
So
this is what shakes up the ACC is Louisville beating Clemson at Clemson, number 11 Clemson. Louisville putting up 33. Clemson's putting up 3 touchdowns at home. Louisville couldn't get it done against the Hurricanes. They I think barely escaped, or they lost to BC the following week. If I'm not mistaken, Billy O might have beat them at home, and then they go and beat Clemson. So good for the Canes. Good for the Cardinals. Cardinals are good, and you opened my eyes up to them a couple of weeks ago. I talked about it last week. Alabama wide receiver transfer, true freshman running back. They're a good team. I just don't know about the coaching end of things, but it's a good win for the Cardinals in Death Valley there.
Yeah, this was a surprise. You could argue this was the biggest upset.
Yep.
I was half kidding when I kept bringing up Louisville, but they had to be someone on that schedule to test Miami.
Best team in the nation.
But yeah, this was definitely a surprise. I thought Clemson. I thought Dabo after that Georgia loss would not really blink again, but yeah, he blinked here. He fell asleep.
Oh yeah, he was sleeping.
So we'll see what happens with the ACC now. But it doesn't look good for them to get more than one team in that playoff.
Mm-mm.
We'll see. So that was interesting. So who is it? Still Clemson, Miami? Are they still on a collision course to play in the title game?
Um,
That I'd have
SMU
to
might
look
be
at.
ahead of them at this point.
Oh yeah, we'll
SMU is
talk about them in a
undefeated.
second. Yeah, all right. So next
Well,
game,
8-1, but um, next game, SEC matchup, UK Kentucky Wildcats go into Tennessee. They lose 28-18. Tennessee at home put good game. Low scoring.
yeah, good
You know,
defensive battle by
good SEC
two
game. Right.
rivals. We're just gonna
Good,
mention it quickly.
good old slobber knocker. And then who I thought number 18 Pitt played at SMU, got dismantled 48-25. Pitt's 3-1 in the conference now. SMU's 5-0 in the conference now, so they're right behind Miami. So um, they can score. They throw the ball. They made a quarterback change. They've been winning. I think they squeaked out against Duke. I don't know who their loss is against. Is that Nevada loss? Is that the first game of the year?
They beat Nevada. They were heavy favorite. They only won by
Oh,
like
okay.
7 or something. I don't remember I would have to look. Did they play like Kansas State or something?
Their loss goes to BYU. BYU is getting
BYU.
shit
Okay.
on, by the way, by everybody, and I don't understand why, but they're a good team.
I think they might take an L this week, but we'll get to that tomorrow. Yeah, Pittsburgh. I mentioned it. I believe it was Thursday or Wednesday last week that they were playing with fire and they finally got burned. So SMU puts up 48 on them, gets the win at home.
Oh, you love Utah, that's why.
I love Utah.
That's the most exciting day of the weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
Saturday.
And it's not on the docket, but the Hurricanes win again. Just saying.
Yeah, I didn't. Judging by the final score, I didn't think we need to.
They were losing at halftime. They just score at will second half. Cam. Killer Cam.
Can't say they just score at
Heisman
will
candidate.
when they were losing at halftime.
Yeah, no, they just when they have to score, they do it.
All right. Quickly, an NBA note: Joel Embiid suspended 3 games
Loser.
for shoving a reporter into a locker after a game. I'm sure Vin's on the camp of he's an asshole, can't do that.
He is an asshole.
When you really find out what this guy wrote about and who he is, people in Philly hate him. He's just he's a shock jock writer. Brought up he compared Embiid's son being named after his late brother who died in a car crash coming to the States. He was 12 years old, coming to the States to visit Joel Embiid. Joel didn't even get to see him on that trip before he died. And he tied that into Joel sitting. It's just a bad look. No need to write that. Grow up. Shouldn't shove the guy, but
there's no but.
No, just why does that guy have access? No, tell the reporter to grow up. Stop bringing up the dead brother and comparing that to him.
So in this
rehab,
in this day and age where everybody's a keyboard warrior that sits there and writes stories, whether it's via online or you're in the locker room.
Yeah, but if you're going to be a keyboard warrior and you're going to see face to face, something's going to happen, Vin.
You just can't push people around for that.
Well, it cost him $1.1 million, so I think it's pretty much worth it if he was pissed off that much. Why are you bringing up the son and the brother who died in a car accident if you want to criticize him for not being done with rehab? How is that professional? How is that professional?
How is it so it's professional to push the guy around at 7
No,
foot
but
9?
what do you but if you keep
have a
doing
conversation
things
like a man. Sit down.
But it shouldn't have been written in the first place, man.
Understood, but that doesn't give him access and rights.
And he has a history. He has a history of writing trash. People from Philly, I heard.
All right, so if I'm going to write trash, that means somebody can just come in, just a man that's
can't be surprised.
Joel Embiid is going to come in and push me around because he doesn't like what I said or whatever it was.
Can't be surprised if it happens. If you're gonna live on that hill, if you're gonna write shit and you're gonna actually see this guy 82 times.
I'm not disagreeing with what was written is completely out of it's just untouchable. Just like you shouldn't be putting your hands on somebody else at the same time.
Well, I don't know. I have no problem with it. If you're gonna be a douche, you're gonna get treated like a douche. So I'm team shove on this one. Call me crazy, but the worst things are happening in the world than a little weasel getting shoved into a locker.
Harvey Whippleman.
Yes. All right. Do you have a Vinny Vici?
I do, and this is gonna go out to. I was gonna just strictly, talk about how bad the Cowboys are, and that's my main. And I've talked about it for weeks. If you listen and you follow and you're part of this program and whatever. What the Dallas Cowboys are an absolute embarrassment. Okay, and I've said it week in and week out, and it starts at the top. It starts with Jerry Jones and ownership. Okay, by giving these two clowns I shouldn't say two clowns. Dak Prescott's the number one clown of this whole thing. Okay, paying him and having your guy that's making millions of dollars every week from you for losing, number one, for throwing interceptions every week, losing to shit sidelines. We suck. No, we suck because you suck, Dak. And now you're hurt for the next however many weeks. And now we're going to rely on Trey Lance and Cooper Rush to turn this team around. This team is terrible. The whole, and you touched on it before too. The Giants organization, for what they do in that whole division between them and Sirianni and Daboll, those guys they all have to go. McCarthy should have been fired already. Daboll should be, but it's ownership. And I don't know, the Eagles, they like this Sirianni guy. They like Big Dom on the sideline in his velour. That's fine. They have a lot of guys. They have a lot of talent, like you said, so they get away with bullshit. But when you lose week in and week out and you're the laughing stock of the NFL and you're America's team or you're the Giants with Mara, you have some things have to change. And I don't know what the answer is for the Giants in their situation, but if you're Jerry Jones, just stop, just quit, because you're so out of touch. You traded for Jonathan Mingo, and I don't even know what his numbers are, and you gave up more to get Jonathan Mingo than the Chiefs did to get Hopkins. Does that make sense?
No, it's terrible.
That's terrible, and you need so much help, and this is what you go and do. But the whole Dak Prescott sitting on the sideline sulking, saying out loud, we fucking suck. You do, because you do. You're awful. You're terrible. And I don't know if what he has on this team or ownership, but they pay him and they've done it and they he's gonna leave. Who gives a shit? He stinks. Go. Nobody cares. You don't win. You're not a winner. Okay? And then it's the conversation with Daniel Jones too. Another bad decision paying him and letting Saquon Barkley walk. Daniel Jones is terrible. Okay? So these guys and their owners giving these guys money are so out of touch with the league, it's not even funny. And I love playing against the NFC East. They're a fucking joke. Absolute joke. And if you're a Cowboys fan or you're a Giant fan, don't ever speak to me about anything to do with either your teams and playing against the 49ers, because there is no conversation. It's a different organization. It's a different way of going about signing guys, winning, and winning. That's what the Niners do. That's why I'm a fan of. I can't wrap my brain around those two teams in the NFC East.
And that's been Vinny Vici. Well done. Fired up on a Thursday afternoon.
Let's go.
All right, last thing we'll get into is a little MLB rumor mill. Juan Soto is the big fish. His market is starting to shape. No surprises. Yeah. Boston, Toronto, San Fran, the Mets, the Yankees, and I believe maybe the Cubs.
Tampa Bay. They don't even have a home to play in.
I don't believe that. Yeah, they don't have a roof. I don't believe the Tampa Bay for a thing. So also Blake Snell. What's his Scott Boras is coming out here making puns like he's the Riddler or the Joker. He's a
Who's
weirdo.
this?
Scott Boras. He's got all these puns. He's got the polar bear market loser. And the Snelling salts and the smelling salts, all that bullshit. So he's on cloud nine. He's going to make a ton of money this offseason after a debacle last year where he let down 4 of his clients. And then the last thing I heard, is it true that Texas Rangers are trying to cut payroll and Corey Seager might be available?
I'd take him in a heartbeat.
That's what so would I. That's what I'm hearing. And I know the little Yankee birds are chirping on Twitter saying that they want Seager.
To play what, third?
I would
What's that?
assume so. I'd assume third if they love Volpe, right?
He stinks too.
And then you throw Jazz at second. They still have Jazz. I don't know, but
He
that's
stinks
the
too. That
MLB
team's a
rumor
disaster.
mill. MLB rumor mill. Also, Contreras on the Cards is going to be moving to first base, and rumors are that Mookie Betts is going back to the infield, which opens up right field for possibly Juan Soto, which is crazy. MLB is fully broken if the Dodgers land Roki Sasaki, and if they land Soto, then no other team has a shot. Why even suit up the cleats unless you're in like New York or Philadelphia or Baltimore? So that's the latest. And ladies and gentlemen, that is our episode for Thursday. That's everything. Tomorrow we'll preview the games coming. Bama LSU weekend. Both teams are off. You know why, Vin?
He was on a bye week, by the way. Playing golf.
Bye weeks.
He was on a bye week, by the way.
Yeah, so LSU Bama is this weekend. It's an eliminator game. The loser is probably definitely eliminated from the playoff. We will look at the playoff bracket tomorrow. We will look at the NFL slate, the college slate, and we will do a little abbreviated NCAA basketball preview. I know games have started. I've missed a lot of shit this week. I'm trying to catch up on podcasts I missed when I was away and stuff. But we will be here for you tomorrow to break down everything that's upcoming in the world of sports, especially football. If anything breaks in baseball, we'll be there. I know Kyle Hendricks is an Angel now. If anyone cares, good for him.
I know who that is.
So that's that. So
He's
as
in the league
always,
still?
Kyle Hendricks is an Angel. Yeah, he's an Angel, and he's on the Los Angeles Angels. See what I did there? Maybe he's a good guy. I don't know.
All right, Boris.
Yeah. I am Scott Boris signing off. Thank you as always. Please like, subscribe, follow, share, whatever you have to do. We're trying to grow an audience slowly but surely. And that's it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Vin, say goodbye to beautiful people.
Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Lock in. It's going to get heated again.
Oh, boy.